implications for your entire evaluation. What you have to do is you have to hear the title very carefully. I'm literally at the edge of my speech, of my seat when an evaluation begins, because I want to hear the title correctly. I don't want to hear Google instead of Bugle or Bugle instead of Google. I always train to ensure I hear the right title, because if I get that right, then a large part of the job is done. Now, why is that the case? Why should you hear the title well? Priyanka, Harry, why should you hear the title correctly? Because the entire evaluation, the entire speech is going to revolve around the title, and you are going to evaluate to see whether the title that they've given is appropriate for this speech. That's the most important thing. So here the title, it's called the fulcrum or the hinge effect, according to me. In French, they say, tu as vu un porte, ça marche très bien. What it wonderfully. If you have heard spot on, absorption of the title. Now what happens is, give a minute for yourself of what you understand to understand the title, and then I'm saying wipe it clean. Suppose I'm saying love starts at the age of 50. What would you do if this is the guidance I'm giving you? Love starts at the age of 50. You will think, do I really think love starts at the age of 50? I don't quite agree, but let's see what the speaker has to say. So think of what you would think of the title and then wipe it clean, because we are not bothered about what you are thinking. We are bothered about what the speaker is going to speak. So give that. You've got to understand, because our brain is a very funny organ, and it will not rest till we have interpreted the title. So we have to interpret the title, but then after that, we have to give the speaker our best ear forward, because we have to hear what he or she is going to be saying. And this is the catch. Let go of your understanding. You don't interpret it according to what you think of it. You might not think love is great at the age of 50, but you have to just say that, let me hear what the speaker has to say. Anybody want to try Love Begins at the Age of 50? Adesh, would you like to begin a table topic? Love Begins at the Age of 50? A small 10-second attempt.
If I believe that love begins at the age of 50, then love doesn't matter in the age of 25, I mean. So if we think about in the coming years, I would say, yes, love begins at the age of 50 if you are having an unhappy marriage at this point of time. So that is what my opinion for love at the age of 50 would be.
So ultimately, love starts at the age of 25 for Adesh. It better not go on to 50. If it's 50, it's an extramarital, or he's saying you have an unhappy marriage. True, very true. But that was your thinking. Now, Adesh, I'm going to give this speech and you're going to evaluate it. Love begins at the age of 50. At 25, what are you doing? You are doing nothing but looking at the other person's looks, the eyes, the body build, and the expressions of the person. But at the age of 50, you realize what the true person is. Even if your hair is disheveled, even if you're looking like a monkey, your person, your beloved who loves you, will look at you with loving eyes and will not walk out on you. You will not have the problem you have in today's date. Evaluate this, Adesh. Come on.
In my opinion, first of all, the speaker actually was very structured in his opinions and also went with the flow. So you took one part from my speech as well, and you elaborated on it. That I liked at this point of time. I also hope that, yes, love at the age of 50 was a great example, which you elaborated further by giving another perspective, which I had given. Because I felt that looks was one thing which was, we are looking at 25, but that will not matter as we age. So that is how I'll evaluate this.
Great, great. 3 cheers for him. He's evaluated it. Now I'm going to evaluate his evaluation. The speaker had, now the speaker for me is Adesh. The speaker began the evaluation on a very positive note, which is really needed. But after that, the speaker tended to go a little off the point, and he had the basics so clearly grasped, because what he was aiming to say was that I, the speaker got his point, but did not change his perspective totally. So what he needed to do was to bring out the brilliance of the speech, saying that it had overturned the hypothesis he had hypothecated, and then bringing it forth to an end, which he might agree on. So it had a change of perspective for him. Overall, a very good evaluation for an on-the-spot evaluation and for a person who was suddenly asked to evaluate where he never expected it. So 3 cheers for Adesh. So that's what we are doing. We are beginning on a very positive note. Then we are taking the crux of what the speaker is saying and evaluating that. Now, my title was Love at the Age of 50. Love at the age of 50 has to focus on the fact that what is so great at the age of 50. Did I say that in my speech? Yes, I did. So I came straight to the point. We have a tendency to talk of vocal variety, hand movement, eye contact. That's all very good. But remember, all the other Toastmasters are going to talk of that too. What is the one unique thing that you are going to contribute in your evaluation? So you have to think when you're watching. When you're watching and listening to the speech, you have to think what is unique about this speech. And that uniqueness, if you can begin to bring out, that will give you an edge over the other speakers. I'm not saying don't focus on the vocal variety or the eye contact or the hand gestures. What I'm saying is go forth and go for the unique point in the speech which only you are seeing. That is important, because every time I've noticed I've reached the district finals, there was something, one little point which is different from the others. Try and get that point. And how will that come about? If you understand the speech. So let's see how we understand the speech. Evaluation continued. Okay. Don't do standard stuff, at least initially. Pauses, eye contact, vocal variety. I just explained this to you. Listen spellbound. Why am I saying listen spellbound? I'm saying it because I want you to really listen carefully to the speech and keep noting. Now, you always are given a paper. Ask for 2 papers, because on one paper, you'll have your rough notes and on the other, you'll have your final notes. Divide the paper into 2 parts. Write plus on the right-hand side, write negative on the left-hand side, and keep on noting whatever you think is a plus on the right-hand side. Like came straight to the point. You note down what I said, love at the age of 50. If the person is looking like a monkey, it doesn't matter. Just note the word monkey. Immediately you'll remember the thing later. Note the critical words of the speaker on the right and the left-hand side as you analyze the speech, as he or she is speaking. At this point, you are not supposed to evaluate. You're supposed to note the words he or she is saying, because you will be able to evaluate. Your brain will be able to evaluate it sooner as you start thinking, when you get those 5 minutes to evaluate and write it down. How is the speech connected with the topic is what you have to think. Is there something more that could be said? Now, is there something more which could have been said? Priya, Jyoti, anybody? I can't see all the speakers now. So Nidhi, is there something more that could be said at the love at the age of 50, or love makes the world go round? Let's say it was love makes the world go round, since Valentine's has just passed.
So what
do you think?
I would add on, or the suggestion would be that we can say that at the age of 50, we get into self-love as well. Before that, the person would be so engrossed into all the things, family, children, everybody. But at 50, they will live their life. They start enjoying their life as well. Someone can be like this.
Okay, point taken. Well, so this is another point which you've added, that love makes the world go round. As you mature, you get more into yourself and you get self-love also. So you've brought in a totally different perspective into evaluation, that you brought about self-love into love, which is standardized. Is there some unrelated stuff which I spoke about or Adesh spoke about? Anybody? I think it was too short, so we won't go for that. But when you're evaluating, please note that if there is some unrelated stuff which is not related to the title, please note it down. That goes into your minus. Am I able to communicate with you people? Are you getting it? Whatever is not connected is a minus. Immediately put that on the left-hand side. I think one thing which strikes you will become your central point. Now, what I would begin my evaluation of this love at the age of 50 is, wow, I'm looking forward to the age of 50, where I can love wholeheartedly without having to look about my colors, my mascara, or my lipstick. Something like that, a small one-liner to begin your evaluation. You can begin that for your evaluation. It can even be unrelated. Understanding is very important. The hidden and the obvious meaning must be understood. Now, some speeches are very simple. Some speeches have examples. Some speeches don't have examples. So you have to just look at the way the speech is coming. And that time, don't be judgmental. Just keep on noting. I'm reiterating what I'm saying. Go for the title. Divide your page into two halves, plus and minus. Keep on noting the words the speaker is saying, monkey, mascara. All these keywords will be enough to make you remind you when you start evaluating. Sugarcoating is not needed. Genuine evaluation is a must. Now, most of us, when we come on stage, we know we have to pass around 30 to 40 seconds giving the pluses of the speaker. And sometimes, unfortunately, the speaker doesn't have so many pluses. So we start off by raving and going overboard about the speaker. Don't do that. Go and pick out 1 point, 2 points, which is enough, which are actually there in the speaker. 1 point which will actually always be there in the speaker is he or she had the courage to mount a stage and face evaluative judge Toastmasters who can be very, very critical. So if you're ready to be criticized, then this one person has the courage, which nobody else had. This I'm telling you in case you run out of any good pluses for the person. So this is very true. There's nothing wrong about it. What you're saying is truthful. Try and be truthful, but use the play of the English language to bring it out. You say, wow. Sometimes a lot of us begin with wow, or what a speech, or what a beginning, like I began. So you can say by saying, what a catchy title. What a catchy title to bring out the effect of the entire speech into one line. Love begins at the age of 50, or love makes the world go round. Here, you are not sugarcoating, you are being truthful. A bit of the play of the English language will help you, with which you can use the thesaurus. Thesaurus is synonyms. You can use other words which are related to what you're trying to say, which all of us do, like very powerful beginning, very catchy title, very good eye contact, that kind of stuff you can always use. Now, a lot of us have a tendency to try to take everything about the speech and analyze the whole speech. There are some points which are irrelevant. Just weed them out. Don't even note them down. Note only around 6 points or 7 points, 3 for the pluses and 3 for the minuses. And then sit and think about them when you get those 5 minutes. Or your brain, I'm a student of psychology, your brain will be analyzing it as and when you are writing the words. So the monkey, the mascara, love makes the world go round. That will be, your brain will be processing it at the back of your mind. And when you start writing, words will come automatically to you. Irrelevant portions must be weeded out. Don't pay attention to everything the speaker is trying to say. Don't try to note everything. The two-way theory. Now, this I've already explained to you. Clink your page. Clink your page means divide your page into 2 halves and note word by word what the person is saying. I've already explained this to you. Here the catch is you have to quickly put it in the right-hand side, which you have called the plus and the minus. Remember, please, they are our pluses and minuses. That's our interpretation. That's something which you will always recall, that my evaluation will never be the same as Nidhi's, Adesh's, Priyanka's. No, each one of us will have a different evaluation altogether. So just keep, you get a point, monkey goes into the plus, let me put it on the right-hand side. Later on, you can interchange also if you need to do that. Why note verbatim is the question. Note verbatim means word to word. I've already explained that. You note verbatim because it will bring back a larger chunk of the speech to you. This is another theory of psychology. You pick out the keywords. Those of you who are students of psychology will know this theory. Once you have the keyword, it will chunk up a lot of ideas, and all those ideas will come to you when you start actually evaluating. Leave a gap after each word of the speaker that you've noted, because that is where you'll begin to evaluate. If you don't want to use 2 pages, you want to use 1 page, leave a gap after each word of what the speaker has written. Till now, are you with me? Adesh, Nidhi, great. Okay, any questions till now? I'd love to take questions as and when they're coming. Anything in anybody's mind?
I have a question. So supposedly
Yeah.
when we are evaluating, many times verbatim is not the same the speaker tend to mean, right? So supposedly I pick up on some verbatim he is saying at that context. I may be interpreting it in a different manner. He wants to interpret in a different manner. So will that clash in an evaluation? Because
It won't. Because you will be chunking. That keyword monkey will bring back to you the idea the speaker was narrating. That even without my makeup, if I'm looking like a monkey, my husband will love me. You will remember that chunk of what the speaker said. You will not bring in your own interpretation. And it doesn't matter if you agree or don't agree with the speaker's speech. You just have to decide whether you admire this or you don't admire it. That's the trick. You might not think that mascara running and non-makeup person, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? Any other questions? Verbatim is to chunk. You got it, Adesh? It's to chunk. Anybody else?
Excuse me.
Please
Actually,
identify yourself.
I am Dr. Archana, Toastmaster.
Yeah, Dr. Archana. Yeah.
Okay, so the first line here is cling your page into 2 halves and note word by word. Means, how is it possible to note everything?
I explained that.
I've joined it now only.
I explained that word by word, you don't have to note every word. Word by word means take the keywords which the speaker is speaking, some outstanding words which are there, and you note some key sentences. You cannot possibly note down the whole speech. You're not supposed to. You won't be able to evaluate it then, and you run out of paper too. So the idea is to get the keywords. The keywords chunk themselves up. When they chunk themselves up, they bring the idea back to you. Dr. Archana, am I making sense?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. We can discuss this even later when we have more questions. You're welcome. Now, suppose I have a speech. Where do I see myself 10 years from now? Anybody want to take this up? Where do I see myself 10 years from now? Anybody, take it up. Even if you've spoken before, go ahead. Nidhi, want to try?
So I would request someone from the club would take it up.
Yeah, please. I can't see everybody.
Suraj,
please go ahead.
Please.
Okay, so basically currently I'm preparing for government exams. So if I got selected, so I would be working with reputed banks like SBI. So I am thinking that like I would be in a good position or in a top position in management. Or so that's what I'm thinking from.
Okay, good, Suraj. Good try. Now, evaluation. One never begins the word. I'm just coming straight to the R's. All of us are familiar with the CRC. If you're not, I'll repeat it right now. We have to give some pluses, some minuses, and then again some pluses to the speaker whom we are evaluating. Direct plus when he said, I'm working for a government exam. So 10 years from now, he's visualizing himself as a government servant. So his idea is very clear. The minus is he begins the word with so. One doesn't begin a speech with so. One always has an introduction. Where do I see myself 10 years from now? Well, long time to see, but surely I can visualize what's going to happen in 10 years from now. I see myself running a public speaking organization called Oratoria. So this is something I would say. So give yourself an introduction and then go forth with the main thing. So when you're evaluating, please note, has he given an introduction? If he hasn't, that becomes an R, but not a very big R. It's a second R. The first R I already told you is the most strong point which you feel was missing in the speech. That is and come out with the strongest R first. Don't wait to give small points like eye contact, visual, vocal variety. Come with the strongest point first, because that is when the judges are listening to you. Okay. Here we go. You can divide the page into 3 slices if you like, Dr. Archana, for your benefit. Sometimes you don't know whether the thing the person is speaking is a plus or a minus. So you quickly put it in the neutral territory, which is the center, and just note monkey in the middle. Now, monkey can become a plus and monkey can become a minus also. You can say that nobody likes being compared to a monkey when the idea of love is concerned with something like that, as long as you put it into neutral territory. I'm telling you the procedure, plus I'm telling you what to look out for. What purpose this will have, I've already told you. You'll be able to think of it as a plus or a minus. Then part comes once the speech is over. Now the speech is finished. And they say, okay, you have 5 minutes to sit and write whatever you want to. Quickly move your neutral territory into plus or minus and have only 2 ways. You look at all the pluses. The voice is breaking. Are you able to hear me?
Now it's clear. Now it's clear.
Okay. So what I'm saying is have your strongest plus as the first plus which you will read out or speak out. Another suggestion here, a lot of people ask me, should I read out or should I try and memorize? If you can memorize, nothing like it. Just have the points in front of you and speak as though you're speaking from the heart. So you have divided everything into plus and minus. Then you rank the pluses. You say, this is the strongest plus. The person had a lot of confidence. This is the second strongest plus, had very good vocabulary. The idea was revolutionary. Love begins at the age of 50. And then minuses, you put down whatever minuses. Now remember, actually you are being judged on your minuses. When you are judged on your minuses, you have to give a very positive negative. Do you get me? You have to give the negative in a very motivating fashion. Because that is where the trick comes in. To motivate the speaker, plus tell him that this is something you could have done better. So interpret the meaning of the words of the speaker into a C or an R. Anybody here who doesn't know commendation or recommendation, quickly just say it out. I'll explain what a commendation or a recommendation means. All of us are Toastmasters, we know it. Yes or no, please? I want answers.
So we have a hand raised from guest Jyoti.
I'm not aware of this term CRC.
Okay, Jyoti, wonderful you asked. When you are evaluating, you will give a CRC approach, a commendation, recommendation, and a commendation. It's like a sandwich. When you eat a sandwich, you want to eat the tasty parts first. Something might come in the center which you don't like, but overall if the sandwich is tasty, you eat it really nicely. You might not like sweet onion sauce, which is tucked away inside the middle of the sandwich. Commendation means what did I like about the speaker? Recommendation means what he or she could have done better. And commendation again means to wind up. I think this was good about the speaker. So say 2 pluses, 2 minuses, and then another plus. Save a plus for the end also, and then summarize. That's how we evaluate normally. Have you joined any meetings to see an evaluation? Have you, Jyoti?
Well, I have attended one physical meeting in my hometown.
So you have a rough idea. Okay, watch it again. Another thing, remember the CRC approach is not sacrosanct. In my winning speech or some other speech where I reached the district finals, I said this could be viewed as a handicap and this could be viewed as something which was a strong point. So the same point can also become a plus and a minus, but you say it at the right point. You interpret it at the right point. That's for advanced evaluations. The pluses are a C and the minuses are R. Adesh, how much time have we done?
Toastmaster Anusha, we have completed at least 30 minutes in the meeting.
Oh, we have time. I have time. So the pluses are a C and the minuses are a recommendation. Okay, now I'd like one of you to throw a topic at me and somebody else will evaluate me. Adesh, throw me a topic, please. You can pick out one from what you planned today if you like, if you have extra.
I will not give away any topics today, but I'll give you a random topic. Having a wonderful day.
Having a wonderful day is the topic?
Yeah, totally random. Having a wonderful day.
Having a wonderful day. Well, that's something where I'm right now seated to say yes or no. If I was one of those queasy Toastmasters, I would say, no, not really. I'm sitting in a chair and I'm under the scrutiny of some people who are going to evaluate me and see if I'm really teaching them to evaluate well. But I don't think I belong to the queasy category. So I would say the day is going lovely, even though technically I am in the late evening. The day has been beautiful because I've been looking forward to this activity in which I could get across to like-minded people and I would get to share with them my ideas. So having a wonderful day is something which has been happening for me. What if I ask you, having a wonderful day, what does it mean for you? Does it mean having something to look forward to? Or does it mean having a placid, calm day? To each his own. The interpretation of having a wonderful day can matter and vary differently from different people. So it's all in the mind. Have a wonderful day and have a wonderful evening. Back to the table topics master. Evaluation needed, please. Adesh, you only evaluate if you feel like, since you gave the topic, you would have had some idea in your mind.
Of course, Toastmaster Anusha. I
Yeah.
would say, first of all, wonderful speech, because for a wonderful day. And if we move on to the evaluation parts, first of all, I would say the word you used, having a wonderful day, you reiterated it many times in the speech. So that got into my own self that, yes, the speech topic is having a wonderful day. You used it in many other ways, but yes, now I know that, yes, the topic was having a wonderful day, even if I was not paying attention to the speech. So you made me realize, yes, this was the topic given by the table topics master. The second, which I felt, was the flow in which you built up having a wonderful day, and you even asked the audience for their own perspective. So that was one thing which, for member engagement, they also felt that, yes, it was not only a speech about yourself, but they were also involved in the same. So these are the 2 points which I felt that having a wonderful day was covering.
Thank you, Adesh. Thank you so much. Now, I'll give you a small tip here. When you're evaluating, the pluses cannot stretch more than a minute. The green card should not go on to the yellow card. You should have finished your pluses halfway after the green card. I've analyzed this in a lot of speakers. A lot of speakers keep on carrying on speaking and they're so floored or they're so much in love with the speech that they explain it very much in detail. Do it, but keep it pithy, keep it precise. If you keep it precise, you will get that time to, because I'm saying the crux is what kind of an R will you give? So my trick, which I've picked up, is I go to the middle of the green card and I finish my C's there. But make sure very strong C's, very strong language, and actual genuine appreciation. This is one trick which I felt I must share with the trick or tip. I shouldn't say trick, it's a tip. Okay. Now you have to form a gestalt. Gestalt means a cohesive whole. Anybody who studied psychology will know gestalt means a cohesive whole. So you have to interpret the speech as a whole. What is the impression the speech made on you? If the speech was overall good, you have your C's absolutely ready. Your commendations are ready. You actually like the speech and you have your C's ready. Now you have to quickly think of the R's. So go to your minus and see which is the strongest minus and put that down in the R's once you're writing your final evaluation on the final paper. On the final paper, make points. Great beginning. What was it that you gave right now, Adesh? Yeah, reiterating the topic and involving the audience. So these 2 things you can put as C's, and then the R's, fortunately, you didn't give me any, so I'm very happy. But whatever R's you want to say, that the speaker interpreted the topic in a very narrow fashion, she could have generally spoken about what having a wonderful day means. Having a wonderful day doesn't mean are you having a wonderful day. Having a wonderful day means what does the audience think of a wonderful day? So that is the kind of interpretation you have to give, so that the judges know that you have understood the speech as a whole. You are not thinking of the speech bit by bit. You are thinking of it as a gestalt. You have understood it. That's what it is. From that memory, you need to add whatever is lacking. Yeah. So I'll tell you something. Whenever you're evaluating, you'll realize you'll have 2 C's, you have only 1 hour, or you have 3 C's and you have no R, or you have 2 R's and you don't have a C. Now, C's is very easy. Believe me, it takes guts to come on as a test speaker. So if you have nothing else, use that. But remember, other people are also slowly going to begin using that. So try and see what was unique about the speaker and try to bring that in as the C. And then give yourself 1 minute to think about what is missing. Go back to the keywords, go back to monkey, go back to what we spoke right now in the having a wonderful day speech, and think, what is missing in having a wonderful day? The speaker could have described a wonderful day. I get up leisurely, have a glass of orange juice, go out cycling, have a wonderful leisurely brunch. Anything could have been there, and that would have been so picturesque. So here you are demonstrating. Now, whenever you're giving an R, also learn to demonstrate the R. For example, I talked of vocal variety, and in a bit of a dramatic fashion, I did illustrate the vocal variety in the first video which you saw. So demonstrate that this is how the speaker could have done it better. And remember, it's you interpreting it. All the audience doesn't have to think that wonderful. This is absolutely correct. It's your interpretation. If you cannot recall well, then look at the lines you have copied. Dr. Ashima. Did I get the name right? Archana. Dr. Archana. Dr. Archana, here it is. Excuse me. That is why we are noting those small words. We are noting the words so that we are able to remember them, remember the speech again through these words, which will chunk ideas into your mind. You won't forget such a fresh speech. Does that make sense, Dr. Archana?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Here we go next. Ranking of the C's and the R's, I told you. Now, I've noticed one more thing. The judges, there's something in psychology called a primacy effect. Primacy effect is the first thing that you say really matters. Converse to this is the recency effect, in which the last thing you say also matters. So remember, your beginning and your end have to be very strong. So at the beginning, give a very good C. Your strongest C, come up with first. Don't save it for later. And your strongest R, bring it for first. Why? Because you'll need to analyze your R. You'll need to explain your R to the audience. You'll need time for that. If you're already in your yellow card, then you might run short of time. So start from the end of the green card with your R. Now, in this speech, having a wonderful day, the recommendation was that the speaker should have thought of a wonderful day from the audience's perspective also. There you begin to illustrate. There you begin to explain to the audience that my idea of a wonderful day is orange juice, cycling, a brunch, a lavish buffet, nothing to do with eating, sitting in a beautiful resort, anything, but you are illustrating. Illustrating is really important because that gives the judges an alternative. But don't illustrate too much because you have to evaluate the speech. You don't have to give your idea totally in the speech. You will have an idea as to which C and which R is the strongest. Keep them from the beginning. That is there. I've already told you. However, if you are hesitant to dive straight into it, you can begin with a milder C. Sometimes you want to, you can't jump into a speech and start saying, wow, what a speaker. She had me hooked right from the beginning. You don't want to start with this. You say having a wonderful day makes you feel very good the moment you hear having a wonderful day. And that's what the speaker made me feel. So you're beginning on a mild note, and then you say the audacious C's which he gave, that she reiterated the topic. Then you come up with the C's. Now remember one thing. Don't try to put in too many C's or too many R's. According to me, 2 to 3 strong C's are enough. 2 C's if you can elaborate. If you're running short of C's, then 3 good C's. And R's, ideally, you should have 2 recommendations. They should be very strong recommendations, and they should be elaborated upon, and they should be illustrated upon. You should illustrate and show that this is how I would have done it, and this is how and why I'm evaluating the speech as it is, right? Okay. Elaborate well on it and then go on to your next C. Don't mix up C's and your R's. Don't begin with something which is very well spoken and then in the middle of an R, come back to the C. Compartmentalize and speak clearly so that the flow of the speech is there. Now here I'm going to give you a small tip on how to be confident while you're evaluating. Would you like that tip to come right now, or would you like me to do that later? I have a very special theory saved for you. So quickly, audience, Toastmasters, please tell me, do you want to know how to be confident while evaluating, or should I just go on to the evaluation? Okay. So Amy Cuddy is a psychologist. She is a psychologist from Princeton and has also worked at the Harvard Business School. In 2012, she gave a very controversial theory in which she said, power posing helps you become confident. Now, what is power posing? Power posing is you raise your arms before you have to go for a speech, before you have to go for an evaluation. You raise your arms, take them like that, put them at the back of your head, push your head back, raise your legs onto the desk and sit comfortably for 2 minutes. Now, believe me, if you're going to sit in the evaluation contest and try that, the judges might throw you out. So the trick is to go to the washroom and try out this stunt. But this is not a stunt. What happens is the testosterone, which is a hormone in your body, gets released when you do this and you raise your legs up for 2 minutes. And the stress hormone, which most of us have when we are about to speak, which is called cortisol, that goes down. It was observed in an experiment which was done by Amy Cuddy. She called people, she divided them into 2 groups. She made one of them power pose and the other did not power pose. The ones who power posed did beautifully in a mock interview, which came immediately after the power posing. Most of you might have heard of the theory. I don't like the word, fake it till you make it. If that's the theory you've heard of, this theory is the power posing theory. And this has been criticized hugely by psychologists. But in 2018, the Forbes magazine came out with the fact that Amy Cuddy has done more research and she has strengthened her theory. And my question to you is, what's the harm in trying? I mean, if you just have to go and do the Wonder Woman pose as this one, I'll just stand. The Wonder Woman pose is also power posing. There are 5-6 poses. You can Google Amy Cuddy and see. So this one and standing like this, it releases good hormones. It will help you start off very well. So did any of you know this theory before? Did any of you know this theory before, or it's new to you? Anybody? Mala, did you know the power posing theory? Ira?
Yes, I'd heard of it.
Okay, so try it the next time. It might help you. You have nothing to lose. My thing is you have nothing to lose. And there's another theory which I'll tell you at the end. It's called the Albert Mehrabian theory, 55-38-7, which I'll also elaborate. But let me finish off the evaluation first. Somebody will have to remind me of the, I have 3-4 people whom I wanted to share. Albert Mehrabian, Amy Cuddy, and then there is Carol Kinsey-Goman, and Vanessa Van Edwards. These are 4 people whose theories I wanted to share with you. Okay. I recommend a maximum of 3 C's. That is understood. 3 C's also gets to be too much in the time period which we have. So 2 strong C's. If you want a small minor C, you can give 1 line and say the person could have had more vocal variety. But don't stretch the C's, because what will happen is the red card comes on and then you get nervous. And then you wind it up in a very flurried fashion, which doesn't really gel well with the entire speech. Another thing I'm remembering here is, please remember to summarize whatever you have spoken. That time, don't get in new points. Say, because there are, I think, a distinct 15 marks are given for summary. So say to summarize, I feel that the speaker did dash, dash, dash well. For improvement, she could have done this. Overall, I felt she was a very confident and a very warm speaker. So she has endeared herself to me throughout the journey I had with her today. Transitions. Now, this is another question I'm asked. If you have to transition from a commendation to a recommendation, how do you tell the audience and the judges, now I have finished the commendation and I'm going on to a recommendation? what you do is you bring in a nice line. And those lines don't make them very run of the mill that I have finished with my commendations, now I will recommend. No. What you can say is, in my speech, for example, for such a 5-star speech, what could we do to make it even better? So this indicates that you're coming to the R's. You must be very clear when you're explaining the C's and the R's to your audience. And if you're risking by not going for the CRC approach, it's even more important that you give your transitions very, very clearly. Time spent on C should be approximately towards the mid of the green card. That is, you feel that in some time from now, the green card will come. Initially, you have some time to speak, and that's where most of us make a mistake. We carry on very positively about the speaker, thinking we have lots of time. We don't. If somehow you reach the green card with your C's, then it is a signal to quickly transit to the R's. So here you transit by saying, however, I feel that what the speaker could have done better, and dash, 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 quickly come out with it. Even the yellow card is enough to give you time to give 2 R's. But then they have to be very precise. So depending on when you transit from the C to the R, you will have the time to set their introduction. If you have a lot of time, you introduce them well. You say that, yes, I'm going to be going in for the R's now. And if you don't, then you transit immediately by saying, here is what I recommend. Okay. Sum up by saying a slightly different kind of transition. I'm giving you an example. Suppose the speech was, where would I be 10 years from now? Suraj, 10 years from now, I'm sure I will give better recommendations. And in an attempt to work towards them, let me see what I can suggest to the speaker. This is a very long transition. But if I have the time, this is a unique transition because I have incorporated the speech of the speaker, Suraj, also into it. Or you can say, 10 years from now, Suraj, when you're sitting in the SBI, please remember, this is what I thought of your speech. So bring in something which shows you have the presence of mind. Here, I'm going to give you another valuable tip, which I think is valuable. When you begin your evaluation, if you can pick out something from the speaker's speech verbatim, that is absolutely stunning. Because that means you have the presence of mind and you're actually evaluating the speech. A lot of our speakers come with pathos. We have that starting, you know, they pre-prepare the starting and they come. And then they say that I will divide my speech into the feeling factor, the talking factor, the organization factor. Don't do that. My suggestion is when you coming for an evaluation, be impromptu, actually be genuinely evaluating everything there and then. If you do that, the judges notice that. For example, in my speech, which you saw the video of, I gave 3 words to describe what the speaker is speaking of. Later on, I used to begin with something which the speaker had done in her speech or his speech or had spoken of, the monkey. I would start today, for example, I would say, I visualized a monkey sitting on the tree simply from the exonerating and the exhilarating speech given by Toastmaster dash, dash, dash. So that shows that you have begun innovatively and you are not copying from anywhere. You haven't, learned it up and come. Adesh, am I on? I think I'm running out of time, no?
Toastmaster Anusha, like for us, you can take around 10-20 minutes more, then we'll move on to the next session. Right now it is 8.
It's 8. So I had been told 40 minutes.
No,
but I'm happy.
No, we are really enjoying the session. So no,
okay, great.
Please.
That's a huge compliment. That's a huge compliment. Thank you. Okay, here we go. I already told you the strongest one, recommendation or the C comes first. Expansion to be well done on the R. Illustrated to the audience. This I've already explained to you in my speech with a ramming pain jutting through my body. I sometimes feel we Toastmasters do a lot of dramatics, but it's all right. Sometimes you can be a bit dramatic if you want to be, but it should fit into the scene. You shouldn't look out of place also because somebody would, I remember in the humorous speech contest, somebody would come and fall on a banana and then talk about a love speech that looked out of place. So it has to fit into what you're doing. recommendation maximum. Please remember, don't try and put in too many recommendations. If you have run-of-the-mill recommendations, just use one line for them. All judges understand vocal variety, eye contact, good beginning. So just keep one line for them and keep the lines for your strongest recommendations. First recommendation should be very clearly explained. That will get you a click with the judges. It will get you a click with the audience. They will know that you understand what you're talking about. Evaluation at the end of the day is all about how much you bother to understand the speaker. How much effort did you put in? Balance depends on the time that you have. Gentleness of demeanor. Okay, I'm going to give a very good example. I reached the district finals and there was a speech about settling down. And the test speaker, what she did was, I'll have to stand up and show you. She did, and I'm going to settle down. She would do settle down like this, settle down. Every time she did this, I found it absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you don't settle down with a dance. So I imitated her on stage when I went to evaluate, and I did this. And believe me, forget being among the top 3, I was nowhere in the picture because I had hit the person in a tough way. My recommendation was correct. It was a dramatic, which was not fitting in between the evaluation, but it was not a gentle one. I felt it wasn't gently done. So if I had to do it today, I would say the speaker is somebody one would love to settle down with anywhere. I'm sure the people of the opposite gender would be more than happy to settle with her. And even the gesticulations she does, those, even if they were not there, she would do it really beautifully. So here I've been nice to her and I've told her that you're making gestures which are unwarranted, unneeded. But at the same time, take this with a pinch of salt, because my theory is always that I don't want to over dramatize. So that depends on what you think. Summary is very, very important. And summary should come in the same order as a revision. When you're studying for your exams, you bring out the first topic first, second topic, third topic. I mean, when you are revising in an orderly fashion. So say everything you said in the same fashion as you spoke earlier, make it very short, use the same words, and now spring in something which is fresh. And that fresh thing is the best commendation which you have. The commendation which you saved for the end. And that commendation you bring in here and say, with a speaker like Anusha, or with a speaker like Jyoti, or with a speaker like Mala, anybody would be more than happy to settle down in their life. And I wish them all the best. Bonne chance, good luck, as they say in French. So this will leave the entire audience and the speaker feeling good. This is what I'm saying, the elated factor. You have to bring in the elation. You have to bring in the motivation. You have to have them wanting more. That is the trick. Pithy means precise, accurate, right on dot. Don't introduce new points here. Here I feel, unless you really feel you missed out, don't introduce any new points, summarize what you've spoken of. And there are 15 marks for this. I'm being very Toastmasterish, but I'm going according to the contest. Once your last recommendation is done, transit saying, having said all that, I still feel that the linkage of the topic to the speech was so strong that the recommendations take a shadow. The speaker's strong points will raise his or her speech, taking with them the points of suggestion. This is a very elaborate ending. You normally might not get so much time. Now, here is another tip. When the red card flashes, please don't get jittery, because you have a wonderful 30 seconds to go through. And 30 seconds is a huge period of time. So finish what you're saying and be ready to wind up. Don't take a chance and come down to 29 seconds. Use those 15 to 20 seconds, use them well, use them intelligently, but don't get flustered. Suddenly people will finish off a beautiful evaluation by saying, I hand it back to the, what do you call the judge of the, not the judge, what do you call the person who's-
Contest chair. Contest chair.
I forgot. Yeah, yeah. I hand it back to the contest chair, not been taking part. So that's it. So I hand it back to the contest chair. Don't do that. That spoils the effect of the entire thing. Okay. Practical tips. Okay, this is what I'm going to tell you now. Did you enjoy the Amy Cuddy tip I gave you? Now come with that is smile. It costs nothing, but warms up the audience to you. Sometimes we are concentrating so much on the evaluation that in the beginning we forget to smile. If we can smile, it really sends good vibes into the audience and it sets the stage. I'm a very big fan of body language, and I've read Vanessa Van Edwards, Carol Kinsey Goman, Amy Cuddy. I've read a bit of them, and so I believe that it really makes a lot of difference. Eye contact, a lot of us, what we do is we get fixated. Sometimes we are thinking of something and we start looking at one person only. Don't do that. Do the lighthouse effect, travel from all around the audience, but do give eye contact to a particular person. Once here, once to the center, once to the right, so that they feel you are talking to them. Eye contact is a very big plus in any kind of evaluation, in any kind of speech. Power posing, I've already told you, this is to be done in the privacy of your room, in the privacy of the washroom. You can do the Wonder Woman pose in the washroom if you can't sit and raise your legs. If you Google Amy Cuddy, she's given a lot of postures, which are called power posing postures. Then we have a body language gauge. Now here I'm talking of the Albert Mehrabian theory. Albert Mehrabian is from UCLA. And what he did was, he did an experiment with which he concluded that it's only 7% of what you are saying which matters, 55% of your body language, 38% of the tone of your voice, and only 7% of what you're saying matters. Now, this is a theory I do not agree with fully, because it has to be understood in the context of the experiment it was done with. But I believe in the gist of the theory, and that is, it's not only what you say, but how you say. So brush up your vocabulary, brush up the ability to be able to connect to the audience, brush up the clarity of your speech. If you do that, that will endear you to the audience. So that is the Albert Mehrabian theory, which I talked of. Amy Cuddy, I've already explained. Now, Vanessa Van Edwards did a study on lies. I've forgotten the name of the book. It was Lying in Body Language or something like that. She asked questions, which I'll ask you now. For example, do leaders nod or do they tend to keep still? Do they nod their head or do they tend to keep the head still? Any guesses?
They nod.
Well, actually, Vanessa Van Edwards said they don't nod. But remember, her study is done in the West. Then do they have eye contact or they don't?
They surely have.
They have eye contact when they are speaking to you, but when you are speaking to them, they don't have eye contact. That is the conclusion she had from her theory. So I take this with a pinch of salt. I say that this study is done in the West. It might not apply to us fully, because when I have to show you that I'm really listening to you, I do give you eye contact and it gives you importance. Do they move or do they stand still?
They move. They use their body language. They move.
Vanessa Van Edwards says something to a different way. So anyway, this was an illustrative thing. This can help you a bit in your body language and in your evaluation when you're able to connect with the audience as a leader. Leader means you are leading the evaluation. You see, the stage is yours. For those 3 minutes, you are the king or the queen of the stage, and you can lead. You can lead if you think well, you speak well, you connect well, and you absorb well. That's my 2 cents on this theory. Carol Kinsey Goman, she has, I think, 2 lakh plus hits. Just note this name if you feel like reading it out. And she has written a lot on body language. That's what I remember of her. And what she's come up with, we believe body language 4 times as much as we believe the spoken word. So if I'm speaking to you, but my body language is shifty, you will think I'm a shifty person and I'm not qualified to teach a confidence, banish the fear in public speaking session to anybody. So body language will matter even when you're evaluating. Sometimes we start walking on the stage. I was walking on the stage in my video, I noticed that. It looks okay if you're moving gently, but if you do erratic movements, or in Toastmasters, we go and do point number 1, point number 2, point number 3. It should be done with a flow. It shouldn't look too jarring. That's what my 2 cents is on moving. Now, I think I have taken 50, 60 minutes. So it's time for me to say goodbye. I've written this thing about an evaluator. Au revoir, this is not au revoir, it's au revoir in French, which is goodbye. We'll have a question session if you like after this. As an evaluator, please remember, I can give without losing. So if I'm giving you a compliment, I'm losing nothing. If I'm giving you beautiful C's, I'm losing nothing. I can share without compromising. I've shared all the tips of my evaluation journey with you today, all or many. I haven't compromised anything. Tomorrow, if we are evaluating together, we will still be working on different ways of evaluation because each one of us is different. And the aim of the evaluator is add value to their speech, give them a direction. So I believe as an evaluator, if genuineness be mine, they will shine. The phoenix shall rise. The phoenix is a bird which dies and rises up again. It's for the speaker. That's my surmise. Because I believe that as an evaluator, no one can replace you. No one can replace you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being a wonderful audience. I've enjoyed presenting to you, and I hope I've been able to make some sense to you and get across to you. The floor is now open and back to you for questions or whatever you have planned. Thank you.
Thank you so much, TM Anusha. A big round of applause for such a wonderful session which has been conducted at this point of time. And I would like to open the floor again, as TM Anusha has already said. If anybody has any queries, please be free to ask.
And the most uncomfortable of questions, please ask, because that teaches us to think. Manan would love it if you were to come on video. Sharmila Gurung runs a WOW session, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right, Sharmila? Women on Wealth is run by you? Anyway, that's for another day.
Hi.
Am I right?
Not really.
Okay. You have a very similar name. Somebody by the name of Gurung runs Women on Wealth.
Yeah, my name is very
Anyway,
much
let's have the
common.
questions. Dr. No, it's a unique name. It's a unique name. Any questions, please? It makes us think. So that's what we really enjoy when we do a presentation. If we can be asked questions which are uncomfortable, also ready to take.
TM Anusha, we have some hand raises. TM Rajesh and TM Shilpa have raised their hands.
Yeah, please go ahead. TM Rajesh.
TM Anusha, I want to ask one question from you. So for example, suppose somebody has given a sensitive speech, having bad experience, having his or her bad experience. So in that way, how we can evaluate his or her speech?
You begin like this. Never have I been so touched by a speaker to come out in the open and share a feeling of yours, which is so very private, which is so very sensitive, is something really gutsy, is something which takes courage. And hats off to the speaker for sharing such a sensitive, gentle, and incisive insight into their personality. That's how you can begin. And then you can actually evaluate the speech. So you're beginning by telling that I'm very happy that you shared something which is very personal to you. It makes sense, Rajesh?
Yes,
Rajesh?
Toastmaster Anusha.
Is that what you were asking me?
Yeah, I was asking you same thing. Yeah.
Okay, something in the chat. Nidhi, can you just check out? Any questions in the chat? Yes, question, please, Mr. Pandey.
Yeah, Shrendra Pandey. Yes. Please go ahead, Yashwin. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes.
Ma'am, I want to ask that sometime it happens that there comes a speaker who really spoiled. Like personally, he planned so many things. He had a lot of good content, but ultimately, what happened? He came on stage and did a lot of bad things and had nothing to at all to be appreciated about in a speech, be it the body language or anything. In that context, what should we actually say? Because
Okay.
I personally feel that we should appreciate that also, like the courage to come and all that, but that's not practical because ultimately we have to give the person something that she can take back and work on. But at that she or he spoiled, like nothing at all to be appreciated, then what should be the evaluation that we should give?
Okay. You really want to risk that? Okay, let's risk it like that then. You risk it by saying, I've seen, your name is
My name is Yashwendra Pandey.
Pandey.
Yeah,
Yashwendra. Yashwendra, suppose I'm evaluating you. Yashwendra, you've had better days. You had much better days when you floored the audience with the way you spoke. And you have been so incisive in those days. Maybe that's why your speech today is paling in comparison. Does that make sense, Yashwendra? Has it made any sense to you? What you've begun by saying is that normally I've seen you speak so well. Today you did such a rotten job that I feel you were nowhere near it, but you said it in a diplomatic fashion. But remember, this is a risk you're taking because you've begun with the R. Then what you do is, in this case, you forget the CRC approach. Then you say, but after having heard you speak so many times, I know there is some value in your speech. And that value is what I'm going to ferret out. That value is what I'm going to take out and share with the audience. I feel that point one of your speech, dash, dash, see, he will have some content. That content, somewhere you will have a C. That even that one C, if you can pick out, you've already given him one C, that you're a good speaker. Today you did a shabby job. And here you will be a bit diplomatic because you might not have heard him speak before. Remember that. You'll have to risk it by pretending that you've heard him speak before. Now, these are the on-the-spot developments you take care of and use your intelligence to answer, to evaluate. But believe me, Yashwendra, do you think any speaker can be so bad that he's rotten to the core? When he takes 5 minutes, can I speak in Hindi? You will get something which you will like. And the courage is not a small thing. You say, then you don't want to say courage. You say, when you have 100 pairs of eyes focused on you, and each one of them knows that you're going to be criticized, what do? You become the test speaker by the name of Yashwendra. Hats off to Yashwendra for having come forth today and put forth his views on such a sensitive topic. Is it clarificatory, or do you want me to think of something else?
No, I am very clarified with that, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Manan, I can see your hand raised.
Yes. First of all, I would like to say that it was a wonderful and very insightful session. Now my question is actually exactly opposite of what Yashwendra asked. Like sometimes the speakers are so fantastic that you have lot of commendations and praises for them, but you cannot actually find out the points of recommendation. And if you try to do it, then it would look like nitpicking, right? You're just trying to find out the minor faults and try to elaborate on stage. So how do you deal your evaluation in such situations?
Remember, you are not there to become friends with them. Neither are you there to please them. You are coming as an evaluator. So you are not nitpicking. Your job is to bring out enhancement of the speech. There is no speech which cannot not be enhanced. Any speaker. Now that is where, if you've been listening carefully, what you do is you go to the idea behind the speech and then see, did that idea resonate fully throughout the speech? Did the speaker talk about that topic throughout the speech? Were they going off topic at some point of time? Were they talking of something which was not connected? Did they make some wrong examples? You will find something or the other. Even if it's a great speaker, you have what is called the halo effect. I think halo effect is when you start getting over-impressed and you don't see the negatives. There is no speech today which cannot be criticized. and your job is to criticize if we come to the brass tacks. So criticize, go ahead, do it diplomatically, do it nicely. And that's where I told you, when you make those two columns, plus and minus, go back to the keywords. Were you there in the beginning? You go to the monkey thing, you take the monkey, you change a positive to a negative. The monkey thing and make it negative then. Do the opposite. Say it is not a very appetizing thought to think of a monkey on stage or to think of a monkey on Valentine's Day. So had the speaker chosen a squirrel or somebody more palatable, I would have enjoyed it more. So make a positive, a negative also. That can also be done. But I really don't agree. There's no speech which is beyond compare. Of course, let's talk of very famous speakers, and Tony Robbins. I'm sure we can find
Even then,
something. If you had a video, we could do it. Sorry?
Oh, I'm so
sure.
sorry. I didn't realize my mute is off. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Manan, has it made sense or should I go further?
No.
A plus can also be made a minus. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, Adesh, you are next. I see your hand, and then Archana, Dr. Archana.
Yeah, team Shilpa needs to go. I think she has been raising her quite a time. I think now she is.
Please, TM Shilpa, please ask.
Yeah, actually, my question is exactly the same, but Manan already asked you. So that's why I put my hands down. So I got my answer. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. As such, one TM Yashwandra asked that, yes, a person has been very, he did not have a nice day and all. Shouldn't the evaluator be totally impartial to the previous speeches the person has given as such?
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. But what he's saying is, you have nothing to commend. What do you do?
Okay.
That's why you use your brains. If you have nothing, frankly, I don't believe key commendation you run out of. But if you really can't think of anything, then you say a speaker who has spoken now, or you change the wording. You don't say you heard him earlier. You say a speaker of your caliber, which flashed through in certain parts of your speech, which did not permeate throughout your speech. I can gauge that you're a wonderful speaker on most days. Keep it restricted to that, but it's a wonderful question. And you can tone it down. I think I stand corrected. You can tone it down and word it in such a way that you believe that you are speaking about the speaker's current performance only. That's what you were asking, right? Okay. Thank you. Dr. Archana?
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for that wonderful session. My question is, I usually evaluate speech, means I basically divide my any speech into two parts, like the content and the structure, the speech itself, and the delivery of that speech. Means I evaluate either on the content or structure, how the person has made that speech and how he delivered that speech. And usually in that case, I have a lot of things to say to the evaluator, and most of the time it gets means I get overtime with my evaluations. So my question is, can I comment on the content of the speaker, because it's their personal, they have made it with their experience and whatever the things they have gone through. So content, is it good to evaluate the content of the speaker as well or not?
Can you give an example? Can you give an example where what was the content of the speech and you're not sure you wanted to talk about it? I think content is what you're evaluating throughout. I mean, that's what I said right from the beginning. The title that you pick out.
We have a speech structure like opening, body, and end. So generally those evaluators, my evaluators do like this, that you had a great opening and you have an abrupt ending like that. Nobody tells about the content, means this should have been this like this, or you just modify the things like how to tell that content of the story of your speech, means the delivery part. They generally point out with that thing only. And can we interfere with the content also, means you should have told this or that? Is it good?
Remember, you are a gentle king or queen on stage. Gentle is the word. If you are interfering with the content also, you link it with the title of the speech. link it up and say that the title of your speech is Love Makes the World Go Round. But the content that you portrayed was more on hatred. So how would you link the content, say you are the queen, but do it gently, do it in a gentle fashion. And absolutely, I think what we are analyzing at the end of the day is the content. It's evaluation is not only delivery, it's the content which you're evaluating. I think the crux of it, why am I saying, listen to the title, listen to the questions, listen to what he or she is talking about. I'm saying it precisely because content is king. It's not Albert Mehrabian's 7%. What you say and how you say does matter. But content, according to me, is king. It's absolutely, you say in your place, but you can say in your place, or I would have tried it this way. Do it gently. All of us do it. See, I would have spoken of love makes the world, or the having a wonderful day did today. I would have spoken on a personal note. I would have not spoken on a personal note, sorry. Right? You were there for that, no? Having a wonderful day.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's it. I think we are done with the questions. Already 8:30, Adesh.
Yes, we are on now a little bit exceeding our time today.
I think we should stop the questions, and then if someone is having more questions, they can connect personally or send an email to DTM Anusha. And then,
Anusha, Toastmaster Ritesh, can you share the screen? We have a small token of our appreciation for the same for you today, because for conducting such a wonderful session with us. And Team Ritesh, just please share the screen once. Thank you so much, Team Anusha, for
thank you so much
for Weave to Lead, and we
really
thank you so much again. And we'll be continuing this type of sessions, and I hope you can join us again with another such engaging session.
Absolutely. I'll take leave now. Thank you so much. I had planned for, I'm glad I managed to finish the time. Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you. And we all are feeling elated after this workshop. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Nidhi. Thanks a lot. That makes me happy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
For the rest of the members and guests, we do have a table topic session. If you want to remain in the meeting for that same table topic session, but our Toastmaster Manan today. And then I would request all the Weave to Lead Toastmasters to stay behind, because we have club meeting and many announcements are needed to be discussed with you. So please stay behind, all the members. Toastmaster Manan, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Adesh, and a very good evening from my side to all the club members and the guests that have joined us tonight. And TM Nidhi, glad to see you here. It's not very frequent that you happen to come to our meetings on Wednesdays, but every time you join us, it makes us more happy than before.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manan. And yes, I also scheduled it till 8 p.m. and now it's 8:30. So with your permission, I would like to take a leave as of now, if you all would allow. Okay.
Sure. We would have loved you if you have stayed, but I guess you can drop off now.
Thank you so much. We'll connect again later. I hope you all had a wonderful session, and you all have noted down the points that we have discussed in the evaluation workshop, and we can see a tremendous change in the kind of evaluations that we are doing now. Great.
Sure.
All the best, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So now, for rest of us, since we have talked a lot about psychology today, actually it's a coincidence that our table topic session today is kind of inspired by psychology. So before we get into that, let me just tell you about my inspiration for today's table topic session. So my today's table topic session is inspired from the Rorschach test. So what's a Rorschach test? It is actually a projective psychological test in which subjects' perception of ink blots are recorded and analyzed using psychological interpretation and complex algorithms. Now, if it sounds too complex for you, let me just simplify it for you. I would be showing you certain images on screen, and then you have to speak on those images based on what you interpret out of them. Does it make, does it sounds like more clearer and applicable and doable? If I can get a raise of hand, that would answer my question. Okay, lots of thumbs up. So now I would be starting off with my first topic, and any raise of hand if anybody wants to go first. Come on, guys, don't be scared. Okay, Yashwendra Pandey. Okay, Toastmaster Yashwendra, I'm going to quickly share my screen and I'm going to show you your topic. Okay.
Yeah.
And who's going to play the timer? Do we have a timer today?
Ritesh will play the timer.
Toastmaster Ritesh is going to time you. Okay. So Toastmaster Yashwendra. It will be there on screen for next 10 seconds, and then I'll unshare the screen.
I have to speak based on this image, right?
Yes. Based on your interpretation of this image.
Should I speak? Yeah, so what happens in life that there are a lot of colors. We see a lot of colors and then these impact our psychology. Every color is associated with the emotion, be it red, white, blue, green, or whatever you talk about, it have an emotion associated with it, and it means a lot when you see a color. Same goes for expression. If you see an expression associated with a face like smiling, maybe angry or something, then it also triggers something in your mind. But when you see a blank face, when you see a blank image backed by a gray background, that is a sense of neutrality, and that neutrality is very much required in this present day world that we have. Digital, too much manipulated, contaminated. In that world, it's very important to be neutral, and that's what that image shows to me, that it's very important in this very bright, colorful, and full of shiny things world. It's very important to have a neutral face on everything. And if you don't have that, then I think it will be a kind of trouble, and that's a green card. Okay. And that's exactly the color again, the green color. That after seeing, I feel that I should change my mind, I should change my topic, or should I go on or not. Similarly, whenever you see anything in this world, it pushes you to speak something, to do something, or to to do something, of course. So this image, I want to conclude here that be colorful, have a lot of colors in your personality, have a lot of emotions in your personality, but at the same time, be neutral and be calm in every situation without emotions. Take wise decisions, and that's how you will be a better human being, because this world is very much manipulated and marketed. So have a neutral mind in every situation, and all the best.
Well, thank you so much, Toastmaster Yashwendra. Very well attempted. And as you have said correctly, that in a world full of colors, we should be able to remain neutral in a lot of situations, because those situations demand neutrality. So thank you so much. Okay, so we have a raise of hand by Toastmaster Archana. So Toastmaster Archana, you are going to be the next person, and your image is this one.
Shall I start?
Yes.
What I can interpret with this particular picture is there are two people. One has a lock and one has a key. This actually makes me interpret how fruitful communication skills are. And if people can talk to each other when we have difference of opinion, when we are in an argument, we often forget that there's also a solution for it. And for every problem, there is a solution available. If we don't communicate with each other, we are not going to get the solution. Communication is the key to all the problems in this world, be it a smaller one or a bigger one. When I fight with my friends, and usually when I was not so mature, I used to fight with my friends, and I used to stop talking to them for days. And this was actually creating a bigger gap in between us. And later on, when I got matured, I realized if I would have communicated that then and there, I would have sorted those issues that were petty issues that time, that were seemingly bigger to me. However, they were so petty issues right now if I think about them. So communication is key to everything and for all the problems we have. And do we all have difference of opinion, because we all have different perspective towards life and towards everything out there. If we communicate, we can find a solution, and we can ever have a better life forever. So this is my take on this topic. Thank you so much, Tabletop Master.
Thank you so much. Very well attempted, Toastmaster and Archana. And as you said, communication is the key. And I guess the more we communicate, more holistically we are able to think through any situation or any topic, because we get a lot of different perspectives. So thank you so much. Now moving to our Toastmaster Ira. So Toastmaster Ira, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So here on screen, your image.
Okay. I can see a lot of animals in the image. And I can see they're kept like they're within one another. And that is the sense of perspective. And that is how life is. If you see the finer details, you can see the mouse. And if you see the grand picture, you see the elephant. And in life also, that is how we approach things. When we first encounter something, we see the grand picture and we are so consumed by it that we don't go in for the other options or alternatives available. But if we pause for a second and then relook at the picture again, then we see that the picture will reveal itself another story. It shows you an entire forest from the mouse to the mighty elephant. But just one look, in a speedy glance, you would have missed all of that. And that's what we have a tendency these days, because we are constantly bombarded with information from all angles and all sides that we have kind of forgotten. It's kind of we've lost track of looking into the details. Now, right now also, while I'm talking to you, my phone is pinging, there are messages popping up, and I have to really struggle to keep on holding to what I'm trying to say, to what I'm trying to share with in this moment. So in this, how should I say, rat race, they say there's a phrase, you should stop and smell the roses. That is exactly what this picture kind of reminds, that you should stop and see the picture, see the details, see the donkey, see the rat, see the horse, see the dog, see the elephant, and see all the glorious beauty that world has to offer. You know, these images are not just animals, but they are actually kind of a metaphorical expression of all the events, actions, everything happening around us. So see everything. I sound a little new age, but be one with the entire thing, see the detail and see the bigger picture. And only then can you have a complete experience. So don't rush and take a couple of seconds and look at the finer details. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ira, for this wonderful message of not rushing and holding back and taking a look at the final picture. Because, you know, the knowledge lies in patience and perspective. So thank you so much. Okay, Toastmaster Priyanka. So we'll be going with you with this picture.
Thank you, TM Manan, for such a wonderful topic. So we all living in a very conservative, or what we can say, we always bound with our thoughts, and we never see ourselves in front of us. We always met with people in our daily life and see the things from our perspective only. We always try to blame others. We always see the wrong things which is happening around us. But we never try to see the things from others' perspective. Like if someone was just checking us from top of us, so they will see it a different manner. We take minute things very wholesome or very bounded with us. So if we see our perspective get changed, if we see things from different perspective, like in this image, I saw there are lots of images. They are just turning from their side and they are just showing the back. So we always try to be at the back of us. We never try to see the minute details which we should work upon us, because we always work upon the things which is only happening around us. We never try to do the things from others' perspective as well, because we all are humans and we are checking the things. Everyone is different and everyone is checking the things from their perspective only. So try to do the things with your perspective. Try to do the things with others' perspective as well. If I give you my life's example, so initially I was always see the wrong things which is happening in others. But now, right now, I'm able to see what is actually happening. So I try to think from others' perspective as well. And it is giving me the right direction. Over to you, TTM.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Priyanka. And it is very important, as you said, to think about things from other people's perspectives as well. So thank you so much for stating that. Now moving to the guest, Jyoti. So guest Jyoti, are you ready for your topic?
Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful. So this is what we have for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, when you see the picture, what do you see? Black dots? Or the possibility to find something that is a hope for you? Well, I see a man who is flying. I see a man who has the spirit to fly from all the difficulties of life. Now, do you have faced any difficulties in your life? Come on, raise your hands. Well, we all have faced difficulties in life. And it is that point when we have to realize that in order to come above these difficulties, these circumstances, we need to believe in ourselves and we need to let go our fears. We need to realize that, yes, we are good enough and we need to believe and have confidence in our abilities so that we do not let our fears, our problems hold us back. It is time that you need to realize that what is holding us from flying is our fears of failure, our fears of being perfect. Now, every one of all of us fear of being perfect. Do you fear being perfect? Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have always feared of being perfect. Now, we need to realize that perfection is not a destination. It's a journey, and we need to walk through that journey. And that is only possible when we will be making efforts towards it. So it is the time to take that first step towards that journey. And for that, you need to make yourself ready for it. And that could be only possible when you fly your wings towards it. Thank you.
Wonderfully said that perfection is not a destination, it is a journey. And indeed, we all are on this journey to become better speakers because, as you said, perfection is not the destiny, it is the journey. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Jyoti. So we do have one last topic with us. So anybody who wants to take up? Okay. Okay. Since CM Ritesh has also raised his hand, so we'll take another topic only for you, Toastmaster Ritesh. So this one is for Toastmaster Adesh.
Okay, my dear Madan, thank you for the lovely image which you have shown on the screen. Now, from my perspective, I can see the double-faced persona of a person. We are living in a hypocritical society. And if you see it from one side of stuff, it is a beautiful woman. But from the other side, it is a very ugly man with a big nose, which is why I can say the image is quite literal in its sense. But it also shows a deeper meaning. And that deeper meaning is the darkness which we hold in us, but we try to heal and hide from the society. I would say, first of all, if we think about the many meanings which we can interpret from this image, one image is the insecurities which we have about ourselves. The first point would be image issues. That woman might not be that beautiful, what she believes is projecting towards the society which she is living in. The second thing I believe is a very famous book title has come up in the latest news as well. Ashneer Grover's Doglapan. If you have heard about it, then of course you might relate to it. The last but not least, which I believe in this image I'm getting, is everyone has faced it and will face it, the two-faced nature which we are inherent to cope with, and we should also try to mend it as well. Thank you, Toastmaster Manan, for the lovely image as well.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Adesh, for wonderfully interpreting the image. And as Japanese philosophy goes, a person does not have two, but three faces, one for the world, one for the family, and one for himself that nobody knows. So even if you feel like you know a person completely, there is always a side to a person that is completely unknown to you, and you would never be able to see that side, however hard you try. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Adesh. And last topic of the evening goes to Toastmaster Ritesh. So Toastmaster Ritesh, your topic is this one.
Good evening, my dear friends. As I have seen the illustration, we have a different kind of art forms. We can see a simple art done by the artist, which we easily recognize by seeing it. And the different kind of arts could be random colors which we see. But there are some art forms which we concentrate on that art, and it gives us a different meaning to that art, and it really gives us the imagination power to recognize that art. In the image shown, I can see a person with a musical instrument and a lady sitting in the image. How many have we recognized in the picture? I believe most of us. Yeah. So understanding that image and recognizing definitely improves our imagination power, and which activates our right brain to do some different kind of things in music or in a creative field. That's all I can understand with the image. Over to you, Tabletop Master, Toastmaster Manan.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ritesh, for wonderfully attempting this topic. And yes, music is the language that knows no boundaries. So having interpreted that image as musical was really a fantastic perspective. So that's all from my side for tonight's table topic session. And I'm just so amused by how you all intelligently interpreted the images, and we all got to know different perspectives about how you see and think about the world. So that's all from my side, and I'm handing over the stage back to the President, Toastmaster Adesh. Toastmaster Adesh, please come forward.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Manan. First of all, I would like our guests to speak and give us some feedback for the meeting as well, till the polls are getting ready for our table topics. Let's start with Toastmaster Jyoti. Toastmaster Jyoti, over to you.
Well, I am a future Toastmaster. I will be a Toastmaster soon.
Sure,
Yes.
sure.
So yes, I really liked the meeting. It was a great experience. First of all, I got to know about evaluation. So being a speaker, it is always good to know the points that an evaluator is evaluating you on, right? So different perspectives on how evaluation is actually done from a distinguished Toastmaster, Anushka ma'am, was really nice. Then the different kind of psychological approaches or theories that she shared, actually it gave us great insights on how we can improve ourselves, not only on the body language or gestures or eye contact basis, but also on the content wise in our speeches, right? Then apart from this, I really like the table topic session. Thank you, table topic master Manan. Yeah, Manan. The topics were really, I should say, introspective, because it made us, think a lot about what actually that picture means. And every picture was unique, and every interpretation of the speaker was valuable in its own way. And I really find it a unique way of conducting an impromptu session. So yes, I really enjoyed the table topic session as well. And it was overall, it was a great meeting. And I will be looking forward to join the next meeting in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Jyoti, future Toastmaster, because I'm totally counting you as a new Toastmaster. So I'll be using the word Toastmaster for you. Anyway, let's move on to Toastmaster Ira. It's her second, I think third time with our club. So Toastmaster Ira, over to you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. First of all, 2 thumbs up for finding such a good, orator, for her to come and give us an evaluation session, but for you to take the initiative and get hold of her and get her to come on the stage. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for sharing it so that I could also join. And it was, I mean, it's already obviously everybody knows that the session was so good. She is a treasure trove of knowledge, and she put so many complex ideas in such simple terms. It was a complete pleasure. I had so many questions, but by the end, her session was over. Most of my questions were answered. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. And Manan, you always come with something, some twist. So this table topic was also very, very entertaining. And you came with these images, which was really thought-provoking. And when you gave the image to Jyoti, it was a tough image. It's an actual psychological image which you gave her, and she performed so well. So I was so pleasantly surprised. Kudos to you, Jyoti. You did a very good job. I was myself thinking, squished bug, how do I get out of this? If I get this topic, how do I go ahead? But you just took it so beautifully. So I was very happy to hear, such a caliber in, as a guest, you had such a caliber. So if you join, I'm sure you'll grow even better. And everybody else is so supportive. So thank you for welcoming me as a guest in your meetings. Every time I come, I feel so included, despite the fact that I'm from a different club. So thank you so much for that. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ira. Let's move on to Toastmaster Yashwendra. Toastmaster Yashwendra.
Just a second. Yeah. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So, first of all, I'm so sorry for joining late. I was very late. I think the session was almost over when I joined in. And secondly, I would love to thank ma'am. I think she already given a fantastic session on evaluation, which is such an important thing, because I think it was very tough for me at times to find good things when I see some people that they are not very good, to be honest. Like as a speaker, the everyone wants to shine on stage. Everyone comes to stage to shine and speak like anything that people applaud and compliment. So if somebody is not on the mark, it becomes very tough to uh, give that person appropriate compliment. So I got the answer, and otherwise a very interesting table topic section. Thank you so much for conducting that. I seen it for the first time in Toastmasters that way, with a picture thing. And overall, it was a wonderful meeting. Thanks to share all of your time. Everyone is here. सब यहाँ पर हैं with their precious time. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Yashwendra, for the same thing. And if Toastmaster Mala or Toastmaster Seema would like to contribute something.
वो आ रहा है क्या?
Anyway, we have the results for the poll as well. So the best table topic speaker, any guesses today? Because it was very close. Any guesses for the best table topic speaker?
Can I do say it as a table topic master?
Of course you can.
I think for me it was guess Jyoti, because I think she got the toughest one.
Actually, I have done this image challenge before, but I also was stumped through how to interpret that image. It was one of the toughest images which were you displayed today. Some were very straightforward, but for me, future Toastmaster Jyoti's image was the toughest here. And I would give her the credit because she won it, just because she was so great at it. So a round of applause for our guest today.
Thank you.
And with this, we come to the conclusion for the 105th meeting. I would request all our guests to please leave the meeting, as we will have a club announcement meeting session now. Thank you so much for attending our 105th meeting.
Thank you for inviting and have